What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about why I'm more excited and think Summer Game Fest is going to be better than E3. It's a bold claim. I teased it. I said I was going to do this in yesterday's video. So today's the day. I purposely, I try to plan this out properly where, we get this video and then Summer Game Fest is a little bit later today. So I want to talk about it. I want to talk about, we've talked about like our expectations, our hopes and stuff like that. We'll kind of leave that out. I want to talk about how I think that this could be a big event, could be bigger than E3, kind of bash on E3 a little bit and go from there. But first, before I get too far in, this is very important. Honestly, this is the day, obviously, Summer Game Fest, and E3 unofficially kind of starts tomorrow, but in reality, I guess it starts on Saturday, right? But we're going to be covering it like mad, okay, on this channel, so make sure, sincerely, that you guys are subscribed, bell icon, hit the like button, would definitely help the video out, help spread it out, especially this video, considering, the live stream is in just a few hours. And final thing, we are co-streaming, or I am, just me, okay? I'm co-streaming Summer Game Fest in just a few hours on this channel. Make sure you guys come back if you want to watch it live with me. My face will kind of be like in the corner. We'll watch the live stream, all that good stuff. It's the first time I've ever done a co-stream for anything, so hopefully it's successful. If it's not successful, I'm gonna kind of be upset, but that's why I'm promoting it, okay? Twitter is gonna be very important. Podcast Now 15, links in the description. I'll be tweeting out that I'm going live, that there'll be videos. Some videos are not gonna get notifications. I know I'm harping on this all in the first like 2 minutes of the video, but just I've covered it a ton. I think a lot of you guys know that. I'm gonna be continuing to cover it a ton, and I definitely want you guys here. And so obviously following me and subscribing, all that stuff, very important. All right, let's get into it. So this is going to kind of be a bashing of E3 because it's hard to say Summer Game Fest can be better or will be better, or however you want to word it, without going into okay, so it's kind of mean, and like I said, I love Geoff Keighley, think he's a great guy, passion, all that stuff. Summer Game Fest is never going to be the greatest thing of planet Earth, okay? Game Awards is never going to be the greatest thing of planet Earth. The sad thing is E3 has fallen so far that it's not hard to beat. So an event like Summer Game Fest, while not spectacular, now, again, credit where credit's due. I gave him credit yesterday, day before, all this stuff. I do think this show is going to be relatively big. I don't think it's going to be the greatest thing on planet Earth, but if he does select game, even just a couple of games that people think could be there, it could be outrageously good, okay? Now, granted, E3 can be outrageously good. It's not impossible. However, E3's done everything possible that they, I guess everything in their own power to destroy themselves. And, I've said this before. We'll probably do a video right after E3 talking about it. It's like I get people like E3. I get people love E3. I love E3 too. Again, I've told the story for years, like 10 plus years ago, every single year, I would get together with my friend, I would get together with my cousin too. We'd have like a watch party. We'd watch all of these shows every day, like for 2 days, for 3 days, however long, that specific E3 would be. We'd watch all of them. It would be like an event. And that was before I did YouTube. Now it's a different kind of event, right? Not necessarily better, not necessarily worse, but just kind of different, right? I loved it. And I mean, simply from me covering, on the channel, primarily games. I do movies as well, but definitely games is like the number one thing, and then movies is easily number two. But I cover games, and I love games, and I don't make it. I mean, I'm very honest with you guys. I don't make stuff up. I don't, do anything that you could accuse other YouTubers of. I don't do that kind of stuff, right? I sincerely love I'm like gaming journalists. I actually do love games, and I play all sorts of different kinds of games. So of course I love announcements, but without rambling too much, I'm sure you guys want me to get to the point. I mean, Ubisoft, we've talked about it. Ubisoft has potential at E3, but in reality, it's more likely than not that they're gonna fail at E3. And I don't like saying that. Look, there's a lot of people that despise Ubisoft, and for okay, there's a couple different factions of that, right? Like allegations and stuff that's happened in the company, that's one thing. I'm not gonna touch that. I'm not gonna go into that, but that definitely is like an issue that if you're against them for that reason, there's really no fault there, right? Then there's just people that just hate Ubisoft games, and I don't, I don't agree with that, but I completely understand where people are coming from, and I have nothing wrong with you hating Ubisoft, okay? I'm just not like that. So I don't hate Ubisoft as much as everybody else seemingly on the internet is, but I do think that, look, like Far Cry, we've already seen. Prince of Persia is not going to be there. That PvP game that's just a mix of all of their IPs put together, like, kind of cool, but really not. Like, can we just get a Splinter Cell game? So, like, in reality, Ubisoft has potential to be big if they do like Beyond Good and Evil 2, if they do a new Rayman game, Splinter Cell, they could destroy it. But in reality, it's probably not going to be that way. Microsoft Bethesda, there's the saving grace. That one is probably going to be pretty darn good. The only thing that I guess disappoint people is like, if they show Halo and Halo still doesn't look good, that's just not good, okay? If you show Starfield and it doesn't look all that impressive, and I don't even think, like, I'm excited for Starfield. I think the issue with Starfield is people think of it like up here, and they've just, like, everybody's just so excited that if it's like down here, even though this say is like amazing territory, they were expecting up, they're gonna freak out. You know what I mean? So like that's a tough one too. So like I think Microsoft Bethesda will be fine. Square Enix, like the Guardians game will be cool to see for the first time, but if it's just the Avengers again, it's not going to be that impressive. They're showing Life is Strange. That's important to me. I love Life is Strange, but it's not that big to anybody else. Capcom, to me, the only thing is Resident Evil Village, DLC most likely, right? There's Monster Hunter. There's other stuff they're doing. I know people are into that. It's just I'm not. Take-Two, Gearbox, there'll be the new Borderlands game. There'll be the Marvel XCOM game. We are going to get things from E3. We are. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting to talk about. I'm excited to live stream it if I'm allowed. As of when I'm recording this, I still don't even know if I can. Live stream it, make videos on it. I can definitely do that. Like, I'm pumped, okay? And again, announcements are announcements. And you know, because of the last year we've had where just games have been delayed and delayed and delayed, I'm excited for any and all. You know, I'm not even going to get Scarlet Nexus at the end of this month. I'm excited for it just because it's a game that's releasing. And we've had some of those that have done it this year, but you get the sense of what I'm saying. I'm an excited person in general, but I'm also, you know, excited for a lot of different things. So I'm not saying E3 is going to be complete trash or garbage. It's possible it is. There's no doubt. It's definitely possible, okay? But it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. As I've said, I think Summer Game Fest, under the right circumstances, showing Elden Ring, showing one of Lego Star Wars or Hogwarts Legacy or Gotham, even just one of those three, okay, would be huge. They're gonna be the ones announcing the Borderlands game. Like later today, we'll see the new Borderlands spinoff before they get to do it at E3. And that's the thing, as I've said with Geoff Keighley, which is a little I've kind of gone at him a little bit in like a more joking or poking way, where it's like, he tends to do stuff that'll just reappear later, which is not actually a diss on him. It's actually more of a diss on the future ones because they're letting him get the first scoop almost. You know what I mean? Kind of basically where it's like, okay, Geoff, you get to show Borderlands, and then we'll go 2 days later and show it again, but show it a little bit differently and announce more stuff. Like, we'll probably do more than you will, but you get the first reveal, which is arguably better. Like, it's a bigger and better thing to do that. So I'm not, actually, it's not even a criticism of Geoff Keighley. It's more of like he's kind of smart in that way. But that's the thing. That's what actually can hurt E3, is that a lot of the stuff Geoff Keighley does could reappear at E3, but the impact, like the shininess of it, is gone because we are like, you know what I mean? Like that first reveal is a big thing, and you're never gonna get that again. And even like Elden Ring, seeing it after all this time for Geoff Keighley or from Geoff Keighley is gonna be a different feeling than seeing it at Geoff Keighley and then 4 days later or 3 days later seeing it at their own at Bandai Namco's presentation, right? It's just it's not gonna feel the same. So I think because of almost him, he hurts E3 as well. And again, besides even like he's hurting E3, which I have no problem with, right? Competition is actually a good thing, and then E3 is just hurting themselves, really not having a clue what they're doing, not having a grasp on like they want. Here's what I think of E3, and we'll talk about this, you know, next week when E3 is over as well. But just to give you guys a hint, E3 seems to me like, and it's technically the ESA, E3 is just the name, but they want almost like to control all these publishers and say, okay, we want you, we want you, we want you. Almost like you don't have a choice, like you have to participate. Obviously, you don't have to, right? You cannot, like, Sony is not doing it, EA is not doing it. But, like, then they're like, well, you know what? But you're going to have kind of freedom. In fact, we don't even know which day and time half of you are going, even though we're the week before E3, even though right now we're a few days before, and we still don't have times for some of the shows of our own conference. This has never happened before, ever. And I think it's because, and it's just my personal theory or opinion, I feel like the publishers don't want to do it. And is it because of what I say, where it's like I don't like announcements back to back to back where they kind of overshadow each other? I honestly think that's a part of it. I don't think that's like the biggest reason, but I think they see it too, where it's like we can just do our own thing whenever, however we want. We don't need you. And That's what E3 is right now. It's like, well, we'll participate, but we don't really want to, so we're going to kind of like not even announce things, before it. And then when it happens, we may not even have a big show because maybe we're planning a show like later in the summer or in the fall, or we just really don't want to be here, but we're almost forced against our will to be here. Not all of them, but some of them, that's what it feels like. That's truly what it feels like. And that's not what it feels like with Geoff Keighley. With Geoff Keighley Summer Game Fest or with Game Awards, even though they're maybe not the greatest things, it really feels like people want to participate. Like, he goes to them and asks, but he also said he gets asked by, like, some of them are a lot smaller games, but he gets asked by publisher, developer, like, just nonstop, hey, can we be there? Hey, can we be there? And he has to, shoot a lot of them down. Now, again, is he shooting like Sony down? Is he shooting big time companies? No, he's mainly shooting like smaller ones down because there's other small ones that are fighting for it. So, to me, again, I'm excited for both. Don't take it the wrong way. That Alex is like an E3 hater. I guess I am. I am an E3 hater, but I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be supporting it in the way that I'm covering it. So I guess I am technically supporting it, right? I'm ready for it. Videos, live streams, hopefully, all that stuff. It's just I don't see the need for E3. Again, we'll talk about it next week. I think E3 should just die. I thought that last year. I thought that 2 years ago. I've thought that for a while, and I think this is a really good showing why we don't need E3. We could do Summer Game Fest, and just publishers can go on their own. I get that's what last year was supposed to be, and it didn't work, and everybody's like, oh, see, that's why we need E3. We need some sort of organization to organize it, because but it's like, well, that was like 3 months after the world shut down, and nobody was really ready, and nobody could go. I think in a normal summer next year, if there's no E3, let's say, and publishers just went, I think it'd be a lot more organized. I think Summer Game Fest would be cool, like, and big as well. But like, publishers would go whenever they want, June, July, August. Weekly, bi-weekly, there'd always be a show on, okay? And it would be under their own terms. I think it would be better for everybody. But again, we'll talk about that next week. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think Summer Game Fest is going to be better or worse than E3 2021? As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. Follow me over on Twitter. Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Again, very important. I would argue, it's just my opinion, but again, we're going to be live streaming Summer Game Fest today. Okay, it's at 11 a.m. Pacific time, I believe. I'll go live like 15 minutes before. We'll get everybody in there and we'll get going, okay? I'll be reacting to it. I'll shut up when we like see the trailers and stuff like that, but we'll be reacting to it live, okay? So I really hope to see you guys back on the channel in just a few hours. I'll be tweeting it out, the live stream link and all that stuff. I hope to see you guys there.